The recording.
Pockets of low entropy. Pockets of low entropy, Hans Dalton.
I'm going to try to convince you tonight that there is a meaning of life. I know, a little crazy, right? I'm not here to tell you what that is. I don't pretend to know. I don't pretend that anyone else in this room might know. But I want to try to convince you that it exists. And that we, as humans, are very special in the universe. More special than, in fact, anything else we've ever encountered. So, how is it that we're special? Well, what this takes is a little perspective. I'd like you to imagine in your head a distant planet, way far away. And on this planet, it's just like Earth. And on this planet as well, there is a rock. And this rock is composed of the exact same materials that humans are composed of, except in a different order, in a different way. But all of the atoms and all the combinations are exactly the same. It has the same stuff in it. Yet, we're different, right? Of course we are. It's a rock and a human. I could go on for hours about how we're different. But what makes that difference happen? Well, I would claim that one of the factors is something called entropy. Now, entropy is a physical term that describes how forces try to disperse. Energy tries to disperse, become more disordered, and structure isn't cared for, right? So that rock could be of higher entropy, has less order, versus humans, which are more ordered and more structured. One of the consequences of having high entropy in something is what it can create, a byproduct, pockets of low entropy that's created with it. As an example, imagine a snowflake. So when a snowflake is formed, it's a water droplet from the sky. And as it falls, it becomes cooler and cooler, and eventually the heat is dissipated. Entropy goes up, but the snowflake itself becomes a pocket of low entropy. It becomes crystalline, structured, unique. Well, we as humans are much like that snowflake. We are pockets of low entropy. However, obviously we're much different than a rock and a snowflake, right? I mean, if you were to look at both of them, we clearly have a lot of differences. We are sustained atoms that can see the universe. We're composed in such a way that we can find meaning in things, in meaning in ourselves, and question things. But why are we different? What makes us different? If we're composed of the same stuff, if we're pockets of low entropy like the snowflake, or the same atoms like the rock, what makes us different? A way to look at this is to look at certain systems. To make it easy, we'll look at the human body. So the human body is very complex, but when it begins, it's quite small. There are cells that are very identical, and they don't have much form and function, but eventually they turn into certain parts. They turn into your arm, or your heart, or your head. And in that same way, you might be able to extend that concept to the universe. And here's the rub. If the universe is designed somewhat like the human body, and it can specialize into certain parts, is it possible that the reason that we as humans are different is because we are just a specialized part of the universe? Just like a limb or a foot, or perhaps like the brain. We are thinkers, formed atoms that are able to make conclusions, wonder, and dream. And from this, we can conclude that maybe our actions that we take in our everyday life are more special than we had ever imagined before. If we are to assume that we are some sort of specialization and some formation of a part of the universe, a limb, you might say, then the actions we take from day to day suddenly have more meaning. We're a cog in a great machine. We might be the eyes and ears and sensory system. The way that the large universe is able to see itself and see its environment. To what end? Well, that's the part I don't know. But it's the part that I think gives us an idea of maybe having some sort of meaning in the first place. We're put in place as a part of the universe to do something. to sense, to think. For thousands and thousands of years, humans have seen all sorts of animals and objects and different formations of atoms. But humans are the only ones that have consciousness, self-realization, and wonder about what our meaning really is. You might think that as you go through your life, the tasks you do might become mundane or boring. But I would suggest to you that perhaps every single action you make is in fact incredibly interesting and special, because you're formed as part of a very minuscule part of a greater universe. If you imagine the vast expanse of what the universe is and the improbability that we even exist at all, then every action we take takes on new meaning. And so I would suggest to you and call to you to look to the actions you do and empower them. Put more passion into the actions you do. Take pride in your work. Dream. And dream bigger than you've ever dreamed before. Because no one else, nothing else, in all the world can do it like you can. Like you can as a human. Someday, we might find out what that purpose is. If we are some limb of this great system of the universe, then perhaps we'll find out what that meaning is in our lifetime. And when we do, I think it might be quite beautiful. So look forward to it. Look forward to finding meaning in each action you do throughout your lives. And when you find it, you'll know it. Thank you.
Done with this speech.